Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
Last night, rookie Blake Snell baffled the Blue Jay attack, and the Rays offense erupted in the 6th inning, scoring 5 runs, leading to a victory. Today, right-hander Chris Archer goes to the hill, looking to lead the Rays to a series sweep.
Sun is shining on a super Sunday fun day at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. The Rays on this Labor Day weekend looking to do some house cleaning work, namely sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays out of first place in the American League East. It's a Sunday fun day. It's Bark at the Park Day. It's Superhero Day. It's going to be a fun day inside Tropicana Field, and we welcome you into Tropicana Field alongside Orestes Estrada. I'm Rich Hollenberg. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson will be along with the call momentarily. But this is a Rays team, especially coming off these last 2 wins against a vaunted Toronto Blue Jays team. 16-7 at home in their last 23 games. They are a dangerous club to face.
Yeah, they are. I just talked to some of the players and namely some of the coaches. Jamie Nelson, one of their coaches, said, people just don't want to play us right now, and they really shouldn't want to play them. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and, you know, there's a little bit of a revenge factor. They're not going to make the playoffs, Rich, but they can still strike fear and show the rest of the league that these guys are for real and they're preparing for next year.
Well, it is a Sunday fun day, and as is the case with all of our Sunday fun days, it's all about the families, all about the little ones might be watching at home. So we have some tricks of the trade that the little leaguers can take with them.
Yeah, and one of those guys taking a preparation, Kevin Kiermaier, is outstanding in how he prepares and how he executes. A little different, but it makes sense when he explains it. So listen to Kevin Kiermaier, his thoughts on fielding a ball in the outfield.
I'm going to show you guys how I take my steps into the ball when I'm acting like I'm throwing a runner out at second base, third base, or at home. So a few things I do is all outfielders, what we need to do first and foremost is I tell people, I mean, there's a lot of different footwork fundamentals you can do, but you have to listen to your instincts and don't try to be too mechanical out here as far as your footwork goes. For me, I'm very different from everyone else. So first of all, I want to make sure my glove is in front of me. You have to see the ball. You can't have it back here and just hope that you get it. So for me, whenever I'm coming on a ball, I'm shuffling my feet. And for me, what I actually do, I get it with my right foot forward, and then I come behind with a crossover like that. And whenever we do make this throw as outfielders, we have to grip that 4-seam fastball, because that's going to give us the best fly of the ball, the most true backspin, rather than gripping anything else where that ball can do all kinds of things if we're trying to make a throw from 200, 250 feet plus. So right now, I think I'm going to break it down for you guys and show you how it's done. And like I said, whenever I grip it, I just want to make sure you guys, this is a 4-seam right here. This is how you want to grip it. This is how you're going to get the best spin. Sometimes we grip it like this, and this is not good because this ball can go certain different ways like this. So grip a 4-seam. I'm going to do one more, show you the footwork, and just notice how I do it all in one motion, because this is what I've been doing my whole life. And like I said, there's not a right or wrong way to do it, but if you're fundamentally sound and you're still sticking to your instincts, I think that's the best possible thing for you, because we're all different in our own little ways, but this is what works for me. So here's another one. I'm coming in, I'm watching the ball go in my glove, gripping that 4-seam. I'm ready to make a strong throw home.
Words of wisdom from the Platinum Glove Award winner, Kevin Kiermaier. Rays look to clinch the season series and sweep this series from the Blue Jays. A win today accomplishes both of those things. It's a Kids Sunday fun day, and Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson have the call. Rays and Jays right after this.
brought to you by Ram Trucks, Cuts, Glory, Ram. By FDOT, drive sober or get pulled over. And by Toyota, let's go places. Today at the Trop, the Rays and the Blue Jays wrap up this 3-game series. Chris Archer on the hill for the Rays, and the left-hander Jay Happ with a mark of 17-4, pitching for the Toronto Blue Jays. Rays baseball just around the corner. Chris Archer goes to the mound for the Rays with an eye on a sweep of this 3-game series after 2 victories by scores of 8-3 and 7-5. Archer goes to the hill against the Blue Jays, who find themselves now tied for first in the American League East. They came into this series with a 2-game lead. Starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jose Bautista leads off. He'll be in right field, followed by Josh Donaldson. Edwin Encarnacion at first, hitting third. Deanna Navarro will DH and hit cleanup. Russell Martin behind the plate. Troy Tulowitzki at short hit sixth. Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, and Devin Travis rounding out the starting lineup for the Blue Jays.
And for Chris Archer, you know, things moving in the right direction. His last 8 starts, the ERA is 2.79. He's given up just 37 hits in 51 2/3 innings to go along with 66 strikeouts in that span.
And here is Jose Bautista. The first pitch is a strike call. Bautista hitting .227 to start the day with 17 home runs. 3 career home runs against Archer. And a bouncer foul. 0-2.
You know, and this was supposed to be the big free agent year for Jose Bautista. You see the 3 home runs there, the average of just 179, but just 17 home runs on the season. He's not been as productive. He has not been as healthy as in years past.
Takes a fastball high, 1-2. Well, the Blue Jays figure to be in a race right down to the wire. In fact, they finished the season on the road in Boston. That should be an interesting series if things continue to play out the way they are right now. Boston and Toronto sharing first place in the AL East at 76 and 59, and Baltimore running third, 2 games back. All of that in the final month of play.
You see New York at 6.5 back. They play Baltimore today. Joe Girardi said this is the game of the season for us. So that'll be an interesting one to watch too, because they're on the verge of sliding out of the race.
After making a little move, all of those changes, getting a little younger and a different approach, and they made a little move. New York did. There's a cut and a miss on the slider. Bautista's out on strikes.
Well, you want to see somebody expand their zone, and Chris Archer with that slider, I mean, spins this. You know, sometimes we see the slider with a lot of depth. That one obviously had a lot of sweep, and Bautista could not reach it.
Third baseman, number 20, Josh Donaldson.
Well, here's Josh Donaldson. 297, carries a 12-game hitting streak into play. And misses the fastball. Just a challenge right there on the high fastball.
I mean, power on power. 95, top of the zone, middle of the plate. Seen a lot of swings and misses by this Blue Jay lineup here so far in this series.
And a near miss right there. It's 1-1.
Let's take a quick look at the Rays defense and see how it's going to line up here behind Chris Archer this afternoon. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. And in the outfield left to right, we have Dickerson, Kiermaier, and Souza Jr. And across that infield third to first, Longoria, Duffy, Forsythe, and Miller with Bobby Wilson behind the plate.
And that pitch very close. It's 2-2. Archer thinking he might have had a strikeout right there.
Boy, it certainly passes the eye test. Right there, definitely on the plate. Was it too high? Certainly didn't look like it.
And that's going to take care of Donaldson. Bobby Wilson immediately asking for the appeal down to Jeff Kellogg.
Now that's one we've seen go both ways. When you get out that far, it becomes really a coin flip, and this time it goes Archer's way.
Well, the prior pitch, the coin flip, on the call, went to Donaldson. This time on the attempt to check his swing, it goes to Archer. Now Edwin Encarnacion. Fastball up. Second leading home run hitter, Encarnacion, in the American League with 36, leading the American League in runs batted in, 108. There's the home run derby list. Mark Trumbo, Baltimore, over the 40 mark with 41. Shot to center field. Kiermaier on the run. That ball will bound off the bottom of the center field wall. Encarnacion into second with the double. 31st double of the year for Encarnacion.
Boy, this ball was just powered out to right center. A challenge fastball again. Encarnacion gets extended and drives that ball. That ball had some serious bat speed behind it, and certainly velocity on it as it got out there deep right center field off the wall, and the Blue Jays with a 2-out shot.
Well, now Dioner Navarro, who was acquired from the White Sox at the end of August by Toronto, the DH today and hitting cleanup against Archer. Takes a pitch down. Navarro with a couple of career home runs against Chris Archer and 7 of 22 overall against him. So John Gibbons has him in the cleanup spot as the DH. Two and 0.
Well, the way that those two pitches were taken right there by Dioner Navarro, you start to, understand some of those numbers. Good pitch recognition. He wasn't leaning, lunging. He saw the ball out of the hand, recognized it down in the zone, ends up below the zone, didn't really even flinch.
And takes the strike. 2-1.
And is not a real big fan of the 2-0 fastball down the middle either.
For whatever reason. We all have our own reasons.
Well, when you find out that reason, I would like to know.
There's a pop foul back. That's out of play. And we'll square the count at 2-2. We see that more often than you would think. That pitch taken.
And used to, you get to a 2-0 count and you're getting fastball out over the plate. Oh boy.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, guys are going to come unglued swinging at that.
Ground ball right side. That's going to slip through. Souza Jr. with a pickup. Play at the plate. The throw up line. Now throw back behind Navarro, and he hurt himself. Rounding the bag, he found himself hung out there and appeared for a moment to be hobbled a little bit. We'll see. Encarnacion scores. It's 1-0 Toronto. Encarnacion scoring from second on the Navarro base hit. We go to the Rays half of the first. And starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe, Kevin Kiermaier, and Evan Longoria. Brad Miller, Matt Duffy, and Steven Souza Jr. down the middle with Corey Dickerson, Bobby Wilson, and Curt Casali. Casali the DH today, and they'll face Jay Happ, the veteran left-hander.
17-game winner in 26 starts, ERA 3.23. Finished last season very strong and picked up where he left off this year.
First pitch is a strike to Forsythe. Logan 6 out of 21 in his career against Happ with a home run. And he has been hot up there at the top of the order.
Here's
6-1.
Here's the thing, too. Those numbers by Jay Happ on the season, tremendous. He has faced the Rays in every series that this team has met. 4 starts so far, but a record of 1-1 and an ERA of over 5.5, 5.66.
1-2 now.
And if you look at, that's the season, the last 2 starts, 2 innings, 8 earned runs on May the 16th, and then on August the 10th, he went 6 shutouts. So you're talking about 2 starts at opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, which Happ are you going to see?
That's, I mean, they have had his number in the past, but that last outing, 6 shutouts, 7 strikeouts.
Well, 8 runs for the Rays off him in those 2 innings, as you mentioned, in May. He had a start in June against the Tigers when he gave up 6. And here's a base hit into left off the bat of Forsythe, dropping in front of Saunders. So the leadoff man's aboard.
You know, this Logan Forsythe thing, we keep talking about how, you know, his batting average, 2 hits a night. He leads off all 3 of these games with a base hit. He's reached base 9 times in the 11 plate appearances in this series. And if you were honest, it seems like more.
Yep.
I mean, every time you look up, Logan's on base.
Well, it makes sense when you look at his approach. You know, we've talked about that all year, really, how he's got quick hands, he waits. He plays it pretty honest up there as a hitter. Now here's Kiermaier trying to bunt and fouls it. So he doesn't get caught off balance much at the plate. He's so balanced and can wait. He's really been fun to watch. And after years, really, literally years for this franchise, looking for a guy to hit leadoff, well, they found a guy. Now the trouble is, are you going to hit him down in the middle of the lineup?
Yeah, has he earned his promotion? That seems to be the way it goes now.
Yeah.
If you're productive in the leadoff spot, you're going to end up in the middle of the lineup before too long. Boston's done it. Houston's done it.
1-1 to count. A shot off the mitt of Encarnacion. Kiermaier safely aboard. That ball picked up behind first in foul territory by the second baseman Travis, and the Rays have the first 2 men aboard.
Very difficult play, there's no question about it, but if this ball finds its way into the glove of Encarnacion, there's 2 outs, nobody on. A little cutter there that stayed middle of the plate. Encarnacion right there. That's how close he came to being able to turn a double play, and instead you've got 2 runners aboard, nobody out. Longoria at the plate.
Well, Longoria has been so consistent and hot as well, as you see Kiermaier now with an 8-game hitting streak. And he's up here with 2 men on and nobody out. He takes the ball. Longoria with 31 home runs this year. 2 away from his single season career high. And with men in scoring position, he and Forsythe each hitting .339, tied for 8th in the American League in that department. Two and 0. Numbers against Happ impressive at .345. Lifted toward right center field. Long run for Pilar. That's going to be off the wall. Forsythe digging around third, headed to the plate. He's going to score. Kiermaier winds up in third on the double by Longoria to tie this game. And for Forsythe waiting to see whether Pilar would get to that ball. And as usual with Kiermaier behind you, you'd better make sure that there's a little room there, because he was right up Forsythe's backside.
Down middle, down and through, inside it with carry and power. And yeah, basically Kevin Kiermaier pushed Forsythe to the plate, because when they were both between second and third, maybe 30-40 feet apart. And Forsythe realizing Kevin's coming to third, that only leaves me one choice. I got to get home.
So he did to tie this game. The 35th double for Longoria, his 85th run batted in. And we'll take a look at this race between second and third. See, Forsythe wants to make sure. And whoa, there's Kiermaier showing up.
Yeah, and at this point you realize this is your only option. Did you see him with that subtle little hand telling him basically to hold it?
Oh, a shot off the bat of Brad Miller, but it's going to be foul. Jumping on the breaking ball. Home run distance, but out in front.
Not missing too many pitches here that Jay Happ has to offer. Forsythe, ball was hit hard by Kiermaier. Ball was blistered by Longoria. That ball crushed.
One and one. Six home runs for Brad Miller. 2 men in scoring position right now. Puts him down in the count. Two. On deck, Matt Duffy. Nobody out in the inning with these two runners in scoring position. Rays have tied it, a grand opportunity to break out in front. Bounce foul. Last outing for Happ came in Baltimore, and he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings of that one. Had a no decision. Turned out to be a 5-3 Baltimore win in that game. And strike 3 called. That's the first out.
Well, let's quickly set that Toronto Blue Jay defense for you. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. And in the outfield, left to right, you have Michael Saunders, Kevin Pillar, Jose Bautista. Across that infield, third to first, Josh Donaldson, Troy Tulowitzki, Devin Travis, and Edwin Encarnacion with Russell Martin behind the plate.
Well, already a big at bat for Matt Duffy, his first time up. He doubled with the bases loaded in the 5-run 6th inning last night, chasing home 3. 2 men in scoring position, 1 out in the 1st inning of this game today. First pitch is a strike at the knees. Happ got Miller looking on a fastball down there for the first out. Starts Duffy with a fastball in the same vicinity. One and one. Happ, 33 years old. Cut and a miss by Duffy.
He made that a little bit of a mechanical adjustment last year after going over to Pittsburgh, moving his arm angle just a hair, allowing him to get the ball into the strike zone more consistently, give it better life. Finished strong there, comes back to the Blue Jays. We already talked about the 17 wins he has this season. Made all of his pitches a little bit more crisp.
The count goes to 2-2.
He was able to pick up the strikeout on Brad Miller. He desperately needed that. Needs another one here that he's put himself in position with Souza Jr. Got those runners on second and third. He's looking for unproductive outs. The Rays are looking to move the ball. Excuse me, Matt Duffy.
He fouled it right back into the screen. Count holding at 2-2. Duffy comes in 2 of 6 against Happ with a home run off him. Fouls this one, a pitch in on him, and he fouls it out of play. Souvenir already for that young man here in the bottom of the first. Kiermaier third, Longoria second. And now ball 3.
And Duffy right now doing a great job of laying off the attempt at put-away pitches by Happ. Fouling off some tough pitches in some tough spots, taking some others. Right here, trying to get him to chase this changeup down and away. Look at him, they're thinking about it, but able to hold up. Now he's working with a full count. And now you try to get that back into swinging only at strikes.
Pops it into shallow right. That's Bautista making the catch. Tagged by Kiermaier. He'll head to the plate and will score to give the Rays the lead. Well, not overly deep, but Bautista doesn't throw the way he used to. And with the speed of Kiermaier, he scores easily.
Rays saw that up in their last series against this team in Toronto. So you know that they're going to challenge Bautista, especially with a guy like Kiermaier on third base. And you know, you talk about Bautista not throwing the same. It's even a different arm angle. He's way more three-quarters than he ever used to be. He used to come right over the top with a hose, and now it's three-quarters, has a little bit of float to it. It's just not the same.
Longoria still at second. Here's Steven Souza Jr. fouling the pitch back. Souza in there with good numbers against this left-hander. Our Buick GMC big matchup. 5 of 12 with a homer and 2 doubles in his career against Jay Happ. Rays have made it a 2-run inning. It'll take a 2-out hit to make it more than that.
And by the way, just to pay it off, that was a tremendous at bat by Matt Duffy. The way that he was able to work that, lay off some tough pitches, and then get that ball out to the outfield, give Kiermaier a chance. So well done by the Rays shortstop.
Fastball fouled back, had a good cut.
Yes, he did. Just missed that one.
Three straight hits to open this inning. The Rays have turned that into 2 runs. Junior asking for time, granted by Pat Holberg, the plate umpire. Pitch down, blocked by Martin. 2-2. Rays got down 1-0. Now they lead 2-1. Souza Jr. out on strikes. Fastball by him, and the Rays come up with 2. They'll end the first inning leading in this ball game 2-1. Second inning. Chris Archer gave up a run on a double and a single in the first inning. Picked up 2 strikeouts en route. And Russell Martin will be the first man he faces to lead off the Toronto second inning. Fastball misses, 1-0. Upstairs. Rays actually had a couple chances to cut off that run in the first. Somehow Navarro got the ball through the right side into shallow right field. That was the first thing where you felt like the Rays might actually come up with that ball to prevent the run and make the final out. And then it appeared that they could have a play at the plate on Encarnacion, and Souza's throw was offline, and that allowed Encarnacion to score. I think a throw on the money would have had him. So Navarro got the RBI. There's a ground ball to first, scooped by Miller, and Martin is out 3 unassisted.
Well, how about defensive placement there? You're pitching Russell Martin down and away. He's going to try to take you other way, but Brad Miller pulled well off the bag at first base and really doesn't have to do anything but get the glove down to the dirt. See where he's at right there, well off, trying to cover that hole a little bit. Right there. Sweet little backhand, 1 out.
A nice job at first by Miller there. And here's Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah, to your point, Dwayne, when the ball got through, okay, you know, well placed, but you know, Souza Jr. got that ball shallow right field because the ball wasn't hit that hard. And when it went into his glove, I thought Encarnacion is smoked.
Yeah,
he's got no shot.
Well, we've seen Souza make some pretty good throws.
Yeah. And
with that in mind, you're anticipating not only a play, but probably an out at the plate, and it just didn't materialize.
So then your offense just comes back and very quickly gives you that +1.
2-1 now. Here's that throw again, and Souza got to it.
And when that ball went into the glove, Encarnacion was just rounding third base.
As it turns out, Archer put the tag on Navarro, who appeared to turn an ankle or something there. He's the DH, and so still in the dugout there, so he may be okay after all of that. 1 out, 3-1 to count to Troy Tulowitzki. Full count. Take a look at Navarro as he rounded the bag and made a sudden stop. Oh, well, he's kind of grabbing that little hamstring area, but we'll see. 3-2, foul out of play by Tulowitzki. One out, bases empty. Archer pitching with a 1-run lead. And he comes back to get Tulowitzki on the pop-up. Forsythe makes the catch. So after falling behind, Archer retires Tulowitzki. Archer comes into this game 6-4 in his career against the Blue Jays. Actually, his number's pretty even. That covers 18 starts, and when you look at the breakout at home and up in Toronto, he's 3-2 both places. ERA here at Tropicana Field against him 3.27 in 9 starts, and it's 3.25 overall in 18 starts. This is 19th against the Blue Jays. Off speed as a strike to Saunders. 1-2. Starting Saunders with a change-up to get ahead. Fastball to follow. 2-strike count. And way wide on that one. 1-2. Again, he misses out there with a fastball. Couple in a row.
Yeah, trying to overthrow just a little bit. Finish this at bat off, and a little too quick with the body.
Saunders pounds it away. Coming in 8-17 on the year, leading the major leagues in losses. Picked up a win his last time out, and a strikeout here on Saunders. Good fighting. 3 strikeouts already. 1-2-3 go the Blue Jays. Going into the bottom of the 2nd inning, the Toyota keys to success in the American League. Rick Porcello, with a big Boston win at Oakland, 11-2, has gone to 19-3, topping that list. Jay Happ pitching here today for the Blue Jays, 17. Then Kluber, Sale, and Tillman each with 15. Corey Dickerson leads off against the lefty. The pitch inside. One and one. Dickerson, Wilson, and Casali due up. 2 strikes.
It's that little, it almost, you know, at times when that pitch is up, it resembles a cutter. When it's down, it'll get a little bit of depth and be like a hard slider.
Count is 2-2.
When you look at his fastball velocity in that 90, seen it up to 93, but then that little hybrid cutter slider in that 85, 87, 88 range. Almost two different types of pitches.
Fastball misses. We're going to go to 3-2.
Tell you what, the Rays for the most part keeping Jay Happ out over the plate on their swings. Not too many guys expanding the zone.
We're on 3-2. A foul ball would force another pitch. Longoria and Logan Forsythe, couple of hitters right on their games now. Those two guys swinging the bats very well. Meanwhile, Dickerson will force another 3-2 delivery.
Yeah, not too many easy at bats so far for Jay Happ. They're giving up hits, guys making them work, extended at bats.
Broken bat, ground ball to first, and the barrel into the bat out by the second baseman, Travis.
It actually went farther than the ball. Legitimately. And it beat the ball to its spot. The barrel got out to Travis before the ball got to Encarnacion. You have to qualify that as a pretty good pitch. You can do that to a bat. Watch the barrel. Barrel wins. Barrel was out in front the entire way.
So Encarnacion made the play unassisted. Bobby Wilson out in front. Slow curve, and it's a strike. Well, you mentioned the changes Happ underwent when he was with Pittsburgh. Ray Searage over there did a couple things with him, and you mentioned essentially a little more top to bottom and a little more direct route to the plate. A direct step in that change toward the plate, more toward the plate. 2-1. And the other thing they said, he just slowed him down a little bit. Not such a hurry to get to the plate with his pitches. It seems to me that would help a great deal in that top to bottom approach.
Well, when guys do start to hurry, that's when that arm has a hard time catching up. You either have to be really quick with the arm behind you, or you're going to leave a lot of pitches elevated in the zone, where if you're able to slow it up, simplify things, take a direct step, and then work downhill, you've got a chance, you know, for success. And so, and a chance for better life on pitches, whether it's the breaking ball, the fastball with a little extra jump, the changeup with a little extra fade.
Wilson goes out, fly ball shallow left, 2 gone. Here's CURT CASALI, just recalled from Durham. Fouls a fastball back for a strike. It's a ball and a strike. Two on to CURT CASALI. Of it foul. CASALI 1 of 6 in his career against Jay Happ. A couple strikeouts. Full count. Foul right back. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Rays, all coming in the first. A run, 2 hits for the Blue Jays, and likewise that coming in the first inning. Long one down the left field line. Will that stay fair? That is a foul ball. Well, CASALI, seen him a couple times get on a roll there with that power. Didn't necessarily crush that one, but still enough to make it worrisome if it's fair. And he walks. 2-out pass. He's got a base runner, and we go back to the top of the order. And Logan Forsythe.
Now the Blue Jay starter here this afternoon, Happ, is still trying to settle into this game. You can see right there that the pitch count lets you know that he has not been as sharp as he's been for most of the season.
Well, he's averaging just a little over 15 pitches an inning. He had a 30-pitch first inning, and now at 20 here in the second. And he had a chance to have a 1-2-3 inning.
Well, there's just been too many missed locations. I mean, too many, trying to go in, miss up middle, not able to find that consistent release point and be able to drive those pitches downhill to the desired spot.
Missed with a curveball to open this at bat for Forsythe. 1-0.
Where you were talking earlier about being directional towards home plate, there have been a number of pitches here in the first 2 innings where you've seen him start to get a little side to side, pull some pitches, fall off others.
And that was what he did before the transformation.
Yep. You could see it like right there, just kind of falling off that pitch towards his own dugout. That arm just never gets to its release point. That ball didn't have a chance. That's tough too. When you're a directional pitcher and you start to get rotational. That's yeah. There you go. See, that was, I mean, did you see him really reach on that pitch? He really reached to the outside corner. Finished his delivery, didn't cut it off, didn't spin off, drove that pitch. Not been able to do that consistently.
Oh, that's a strike call. Into the upper reaches of the zone. The count is full.
Logan Forsythe gets the benefit of the doubt with the fans here. They know his strike zone discipline's pretty good, so if he's starting to walk towards first base, well, it must be a ball. Not so, says Pat Hobert.
(3-2) lifted up the right side. It's going to carry into the stands.
Yeah, how many full counts have there been? A number just in this inning.
Well, 3 in this inning. Dickerson, then he grounded out. Casali walked, now 3-2 to Forsythe. Duffy went 3-2 in that battle with him in the first and got the fly ball to drive in a run. And that is ball 4 right there. The game is not an easy game as it appears. And, the old saying, the farther away from the action, the easier it seems. When we're talking about his transformation, Jay Happ, his body memory for years was more rotation. And last year it started to change. He's made 26 starts this year. He's had a great year, and yet here he is in this start, waging that battle against his past and trying to get back to what his present and what he hopes to be his future will be. 1 strike to count on Kevin Kiermaier.
It almost sounds like a life lesson. Oh, he's battling that pass.
That's what this game is.
It really is.
One of the things that makes it so attractive. It's you play a full season every day. I've always likened it to a process. some sporting events are just that, events. Baseball is more of a process than an event, and we see it in individual careers, in individual seasons for entire teams. And in that way, I think that's part of the human interest in the game, that it is a process.
And you are going to go through ups and downs and middle of the road in a 6-month season as a team, as an individual. And that's why, you know, then you hear that, you know, the saying, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You cannot, because if you start to ride the roller coaster, look out. It's going to come off the rails.
1-2 count on Kevin Kiermaier. There's a line drive, and it's caught by the second baseman, Travis. Kiermaier hit the ball right on the button. The Rays lead 2-1.
The Blue Jays, and they lead the season series 9-6 currently over the Blue Jays. So a win today or in any of the following 4 games that they have left against the Jays locks up the season series against Toronto, something they have done just about every year for the last decade. They haven't lost a season series to Toronto since 2006, and the news gets even better, guys, because 3 more games up at Rogers Center. The Rays have already outscored the Jays 46-23 in their building, fellas.
All right, Kevin Pillar leads off. The first pitch here in the third popped up. Matt Duffy waiting for this one to come down, makes the catch. You know, the Rays have certainly had their way with the Blue Jays in recent time, trying to win their 8th season series against them in the last 9 years. And right now, 9-6 against the Toronto Ball Club.
That scoring differential up at Rogers Center. You remember that was the series that the first 2 games the Rays were going to face Stroman and Happ, who were both undefeated at the time, and they put up 25 runs in those first 2 games. I mean, just battered those pitchers, the pitching staff at large.
Evan Travis with the 1 strike count, pitch is up.
So that's the pitching staff that statistically, you know, is the best in the American League as far as ERA goes, on the strength of their starters. But as we've seen in this series, the bullpen has been scuffling.
1-2. Yeah, that's an issue for them. You look at the East, you know, you can pick apart all 3 of those teams as to why they should not win it, or maybe why they should.
It is pretty remarkable. And then you go outside the division. You look, okay, the Texas Rangers. Well, bullpen issues there too. I mean, you can just, I mean, there's not a a team in the American League that is just so solid in all three facets. You know, starting pitching, bullpen, and offense. It just isn't one. So what a race it's going to be the last month, and what a playoffs it's going to be on the American League side.
Up the right side, that's a foul ball. What a play.
You start to look around and say, who's best equipped to cover up their weakness? And I couldn't give you a straight answer right now. I have to really dig into some stuff.
Well, you know, all the teams are in contention. You look at Cleveland, they've opened a 5.5 game lead on Detroit. You know, they look like they're a pretty balanced team.
Maybe I would say the most complete team right now.
I think so. I think when you look at their starting pitching and what they can try to finish a game with,
yeah,
you kind of like that.
You got Cody Allen, Andrew Miller as your back end. You've got a starting staff when healthy with Carrasco, Kluber, and Salazar that are three dominant, you know, Chris Archer type pitchers that can just go out and take a game over on stuff. Not to mention Trevor Bauer. You can throw him in there too. He can move to the bullpen for a series. I mean, they've got some options. They score enough runs, and they've got that bullpen that as you get deeper into the pen, they've got some guys that can lock you down.
Yeah, they're kind of a combination too. They got a little pop in there, and then they'll manufacture a run. They do some things, you know, fundamentally that are fun to watch if you're following that club. 2 outs here. Travis out on the strikeout, giving Archer 4 strikeouts. He starts Bautista with a strike. And a ground ball headed into center. That'll be a 2-out single for Bautista. In the meantime, as you pointed out with Texas, I think, you know, we say this, well, Texas has won, what, 7 in a row now, but they've been playing Houston, and Houston just can't beat the Rangers at all, it appears. And so the Texas Rangers with a 10.5 game lead in their division. But you know, you're talking about not only getting there, but once you get there, then what do you have? And they're going to have to show that they have some quality third line starting pitching.
No question. I mean, that was even a team that rolled in here. I mean, the Rays had not seen the Rangers all season long till well into August. And then all of a sudden they roll in here, and they've got the best record in the American League, and the series is played, and you and I look at each other and say, that's the best record in the American League.
Really?
They're not a bad team, but they certainly didn't wow you. Didn't blow you away that they were so complete. And you're right, out of the top 2 starters with Hamels and Darvish, and the Rays didn't even see Darvish. You're like, now what?
Yep.
And so, I mean, everybody's got an issue or issues.
It's really going to be interesting, as we mentioned, because the Blue Jays go to Boston to finish the year. The Rays are going to be in Texas, so they could have something ultimately to say what happens there in terms of positioning, maybe. Right now, they've got that big lead. 2-1 the count here on Donaldson. But as you look at all those clubs, now this probably will be completely different in a week. but you really sort of have to like Cleveland.
I do. I think right now, for the reasons we just talked about, the most complete team. Not the most powerful, but certainly powerful enough. The dominant starting pitching, potentially. The guys with the stuff that can take a game over. The back end of the bullpen. Defensively, you know, you get Kipnis and Lindor in the middle. I mean, yeah, I think barring any kind of, you know, big time injury, that team looks to be the most complete. But that also doesn't mean, you know, we'll see. That's why I think the playoffs this year are going to be very, very intriguing. Must see TV.
3-1 here. The count on Donaldson, who's been hot. Bautista singled with 2 outs to get Donaldson to the plate. It's a 2-1 ball game right now. And Archer misses. He walks Donaldson. Well, here's the one thing Archer wants to stay away from. You know, he's coming off a 7-inning outing against Houston in a win. But he did run into that 1 inning over there when they scored all 3 of their runs. That was a 34-pitch inning, and he struggled through 1 inning there, and then the Rays wound up winning that game. They limited the damage to that inning. Encarnacion fouling one back. So right here, Archer giving up a single and a walk after the first 2 men had been retired, and he faces the American League's RBI leader in Edwin Encarnacion, who doubled his first time. Into the dirt, skipping away. The runners will advance on the wild pitch. So now the wild pitch moves both men into scoring position.
And for Chris Archer, this is number 11, and most of them, if not all of them, have come on the slider. He will pull that pitch down into the dirt. He throws it so hard, and there's so much spin on it that it is tough to block and keep smothered right in front of you.
Take right there for ball 2. You can see Archer's reaction. He was very expressive, thinking he had a strike there, and that's the kind of thing that will not sit well with an umpire.
No, and I think it was a strike too, but you don't want to be too demonstrative. You get the wrong guy back there. Now see right there, there's another one. But you know what, that's, you start.
Yep.
The umpire at home plate starts to feel like he's being shown up. If it's borderline, you're not getting it.
And Holberg's hearing from the Rays dugout right now, and those are 2 good pitches.
They are.
They are.
That's strike 2 and 3. No doubt about it.
Now a strike. That wasn't as good a pitch as the third one, but a strike. So the count is full.
Holberg a little better right now with the straight stuff.
Lar popped out. Travis struck out. Bautista single. Donaldson walked. They've been wild pitch to second and third. 3-2 the count to Encarnacion. He got it. Struck him out. Came back with a 3-2 slider and got him to chase. 2 men left, and the Rays lead 2-1. Geico, a great moment this day in 2003 for Sosa. Tosses his first complete game shutout, giving the Rays back-to-back complete game shutouts for the first time in club history. Rays beating Seattle 1-0, and Sosa allows just 4 hits.
we saw yesterday who got that whole thing started.
Doug Wechter.
Right.
Yep.
Right to Sosa. Shutting down that M's team.
Evan Longoria takes the pitch down and in, out of the zone. 1-0.
Can't wait to see what holds for September the 5th.
One never knows. Fly ball, right field. Bautista takes that grab. Away.
Number 13, Brad Miller.
Braves facing Jay Happ, 33-year-old left-hander. Here's Brad Miller. Strike one. Miller caught looking on a fastball in the first after a near miss home run down the right side, pulled it foul to begin that at bat. And he's going to show the bunt. And Donaldson way back at third.
I'd still find him. I mean, the way that the Brad Miller, the way the ball comes off his bat when he swings the bat. I get it, but boy, I want you swinging that stick. If I'm Kevin Cash.
It's a high pop foul, and that's going to go out of play.
I'll tell you what, he's definitely taken a step this year. And we saw that graphic yesterday with his career numbers and the jump in home runs. Right now sitting at 26. He's got a chance to get to 30. Would you take 30 home runs from your corner infielder?
Seems like a great game plan to me. It's a little close, 1-2. And now Hoberg getting a little noise from the Toronto dugout. Look at some of Miller's handiwork right there. Fouls this one back into the screen.
Well, he has the ability, you know, to be a 30 home run guy because he can get the ball out to all parts. We've seen him go to left a number of times. He's got enough juice to get it to center for sure, and right field, you know, target practice.
And it's 2-2. Yeah, well, take a look at this. You can see there 5 the other way and 9 to center field.
Take that. 14 of the 26 up the middle the other way. That's impressive. Very impressive.
Lifts it into center. Pilar still coming in, but a lot of time to get there. So 2 gone.
Number 5, Matt Duffy.
And Duffy on his way to the plate. Well, Duffy and Happ had a nice little battle going back in the first inning, and right now, the way the game stands, that matchup is the difference in this game because Duffy battled him and finally got a sacrifice fly.
And Jay Happ had put himself into position, you know, to get the strikeout. Had struck out Brad Miller, and then all of a sudden gets to 2 strikes pretty quickly on Duffy. And you're right, it's a battling at bat. You never give up on things. It doesn't turn out to be a base hit, just a fly ball, but that's all you needed. And it's at bats like that we've harped on and talked about all season long, improving situational hitting. Derek Shelton has talked about improving situational hitting. That's a great example.
Two balls and a strike.
Boy, the work that these coaches put in starting before spring training.
Yep. There's a base hit, shot through the hold on the left side. Duffy will make the turn and hang on. Yeah, they are among the most unheralded people of the game, the coaches.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, it starts in the off season, into spring training. You're there very, very early, getting things ready. Home very late, all season long. The different personalities that you have to work with, the different people that you've got to connect with, the message that you've got to get across to any number of guys, the guys that start the season with you, the guys that are called up from AAA.
Steven Souza Jr. which is fouled straight back. So when you think about their workload, and they, as you point out, spend hours at the ballpark and in preseason, spring training, leading up to that. It's almost as if you couldn't have too many coaches on a club. You know, you've got a whole roster. You know, basically, you're going to have 25 at any given time, but you could have double that to deal with throughout a season. You know, oh, you're the hitting coach, you're the assistant hitting coach, you take care of these guys. Yeah. One and two.
Well, and the message has to be consistent. That's the other thing. You know, the message from the top on down has to be consistent.
Organizationally as well. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why the best organizations, as you come up through the minor leagues, when you step from AAA into the big leagues, you know exactly what to expect. There's not a different message each step of the way. It is uniform.
He's hit the other way for Souza. Duffy advances to second. First and second with 2 outs. So the Rays trying to put a little something together here against the lefty in the third.
Well, plenty of room over there. Souza Jr. lets that ball get into the zone and just pokes it out into right field. Gives themselves another opportunity here to add to this lead in the third.
Corey Dickerson battled to a 3-2 count, grounded out to first against Happ, his first time up. Dickerson looking for his first hit in this series. He drove in a run Friday night with a ground ball. 2 men on, 2 men out in the third. And a good take on a pitch a little wide there. Some action in the bullpen. Barnes getting some throwing in. Foul ball, and it's 1-1. And a lot of pitches here for Happ. He made 30 pitches in the first and 31 in the second inning. And now 19 here in this one. Up to 80 pitches already.
And you know what? Manager John Gibbons, this has more of a feel of the way you run a playoff game. A lot of pitches. Things have not gone smoothly. This is a game that the Blue Jays desperately need. They came into this series up 2 games on the Red Sox. They're tied as of this morning. So you do whatever it takes. And you're not going to allow that leash much longer. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of pitches left to go with, and they've not been sharp. So
a 1-2 count. Into the screen, foul, forcing another pitch. And coming off the outing against Baltimore, 6 innings, 102 pitches in that one. by Martin. 2-2. The Rays only lead 2-1, but Gibbons concerned in that Toronto dugout nevertheless. And there's ball 3, so Happ, after getting ahead of Dickerson, finds the count full. And more conversation going on over there in the dugout.
Well, back to, you know, the inconsistency in the delivery and getting a little rotational. That time, you know, not pulling off the pitch, but carrying it with him and pulling it too far off the plate. There's just been no consistency.
3-2, and a base hit the other way. Duffy will score. An RBI single for Dickerson makes it 3-1. Now the Rays with 2 outs have put together 3 consecutive hits. And they're up by 2. And they continue to extend the pitch count on Happ early.
Well, now you're just trying to throw a strike. And Corey Dickerson, who fouled off some tough pitches in this at-bat, able to go the other way through the open hole.
Well, Bobby Wilson announced here, and here comes Gibbons. That's going to be it for Jay Happ.
Guys, just to piggyback on your conversation about the tireless work that the coaching staff puts in the Rays clubhouse and dugout, they've got an addition to that staff now that there have been September call-ups. You're looking at Jim Hops, 71 years old, has been the minor league field coordinator for the Rays since 2002, a baseball man for the last 5 decades, and he basically runs the minor league organization, going from class to class, affiliate to affiliate, spreading the so-called gospel of the Rays way. And with all the experience that Hop brings to the table, another valuable voice for the youngest manager in the big leagues, Kevin Cash. Guys.
Yeah, you can never have too much help when it comes to instruction and evaluation. And Jim Hop has been a big part of this organization for a long time. Barnes, the new pitcher. The Rays with 2 men on and a 2-run lead. Bobby Wilson facing him. Danny Barnes in the game here the other night in the 8-3 Rays win on Friday. Wilson fouls it. Barnes worked the 8th inning of that game. Gave up a walk and had a couple strikeouts. Into the dirt. Wilson takes a look at that one. Souza's at second. Dickerson's at first. Dickerson driving in the run here in the third inning. His 54th run batted in. Souza Jr. Dickerson. Reaching for it, lifts it into center. Pilar is there to make the catch. Rays add a run through 3-1 Tampa Bay. The fourth inning this afternoon. Every strikeout Chris Archer records benefits Pittsburgh baseball and RBI baseball of Tampa. For every strikeout, he'll join the Rays and 10 News WTSP to each donate $25. Participants who join Chris Archer with a pledge at RaysBaseball.com/Archer will be entered for a chance to meet him. Yonder Navarro leads it off here in the fourth. Navarro had a base hit to drive in a run in the first and then was caught rounding the bag. And he stumbled and appeared to have a physical issue of some sort, but he, as the DH, stays in there to hit against Archer a second time. Fouls it back. There's the DH because of previous success against Archer. 7 hits in 22 at-bats coming in. He's now 8 out of 23 against him with 2 home runs. Out on strikes this time. Well, the slider gets him.
Look how long that pitch stays in the zone. I mean, really stays in the zone all the way until the swing is well on its way. And then all of a sudden that late dip out, that is ideal. That's when pitching coaches, when they talk about presenting a pitch as a strike, we know it's not going to end up in the zone, but stay in the zone for a long time till a hitter has to commit. That's the Chris Archer slider.
Pitch is wide to Martin. When you look at his pitch breakout since the All-Star break, and things have been a little better for him since the break after really struggling for the first half of the year. And when you look at his pitch count, you see more sliders now, almost even with the fastball, and fewer changeups. And part of that reason is that the slider, I would think, has gotten better. You know, he went in the first half looking for some consistency and that slider, and it wasn't always there. So every once in a while he'd load up on that changeup. And now we see fewer changeups and more sliders, about even with fastball usage.
And I'll take you one step further. I think that you're right about the slider being better, and I think it's better because the fastball's been better. He hasn't been missing those arm high, middle of the zone, you know, high fastballs. So when you're getting to the release point on the fastball, the slider is a fastball all the way until the very end. So if you find the release on the fastball, you're going to find the release point on the slider, and that pitch is going to go back to being dominant. Yeah. That's what we've seen.
Well, here's
not even the best one, but it locks up Russell Martin.
Yeah. Cole, third strike, and now Pat Hoburg, who has heard from both dugouts today, apparently he's heard enough from the Toronto dugout. And out comes John Gibbons just to get a few more points across.
Well, and the thing is, if you're going to get run, you're trying to fire your team up too. So you got to go out there and get your money's worth. The problem here is the umpires are maintaining control. Nobody's losing it along with them. That makes it difficult to get real demonstrative. Everybody else is calm.
And Jeff Kellogg coming down, the crew chief from first base, to maintain calm.
Everybody just needs to take a nap.
That's right. Just take a little nap. Everything will be okay. So after that flare up, here's Troy Tulowitzki. And the pitch to him is a ball, 1-0. I think the point you make about the fastball is right on point, because if you get down to it, everything really starts with command of a fastball.
Amen. Amen. That is really, that's why pitching coaches talk about it. Not only is it the best pitch, a well-located fastball, but everything, like you just said, plays off of that. Fastball's good, more than likely the release point on all the secondary pitches is going to be pretty good also. Especially when you start talking about the pitches that directly feed off each other. Fastball slider, a fastball changeup.
Two-one now on Tulowitzki. Hits that one on the ground is short. Duffy takes care of him, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the fourth coming, 3-1 Tampa Bay. Go back to Curt Casali, with that April walk-off. The base hit defeating the Blue Jays 4-3. And here's Curt Casali to lead off the bottom of the 4th against Danny Barnes. This pitch is high. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a strike. Barnes came on and got Wilson on a fly ball to center in the 3rd in that inning. And a bouncer right back to the mound, and Casali is out, pitcher first, to begin the bottom of the 4th.
Second baseman Logan FORSYTHE.
So now Logan FORSYTHE up for his 3rd plate appearance so far today. 6 of 8 in the series. Base hit and a run scored in the 1st and a walk in the 2nd inning. Here takes ball 1, 1-0. The 2-0 count. High pop up on the left side of the infield. 3rd baseman Donaldson handles that one. 2 outs. To be right on top of things. We're now getting the official announcement that John Gibbons has been ejected.
I heard that. I thought they were joking. I guess that's for any of the writers who may have dozed off and taken a nap themselves.
Naps are good.
Down there, you pile up on a big breakfast and media dining, and you doze. I've seen it.
So this is Kevin Kiermaier.
You chuckle, but it's true.
Strike.
You eat too many carbs, Dwayne, you get sleepy.
Well, that's what happens.
That's right.
Yep.
Day game after a night game.
Mm-hmm.
So you need that announcement.
So everybody knows. And you don't want to make that announcement abruptly. You take a little time and kind of ease into it.
Very subtle.
2-1 the count with the bases empty and 2 outs.
Doesn't startle anybody.
That's right. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. Big cut right there by Kiermaier. He's trying to add to his home run total. Kiermaier hit one in the 7th inning last night, his 8th home run of the year. Three and 2. I was going to say, you know, he really seems to like that number 2 spot. He likes any spot on the field, actually. But I do think that he really enjoys being up in the number 2 spot in the lineup.
Well, you're in the middle of the action. It allows him to open up his.
Oh, now he's called out on strikes. He thought he had drawn the walk, was halfway up the first base line, and Pat Hoberg, asserting his authority, calls him out on strikes. And it's a 1-2-3-4. Put it into that inning. And here's a look at that pitch. Actually looks like a pretty good pitch. And Kevin trying to help persuade Pat Hoberg that it was low, and Hoberg had none of it.
And Kevin Kiermaier usually not the guy to assume anything. But you know what? That's the same pitch right there that was not called. And maybe that's why he headed that way, because it's been so inconsistent. The pitch on him called a strike. That first pitch by Archer there, a ball. Same spot.
1-1. A 1-1 count on Michael Saunders to begin the fifth. Foul out of play. Archer has put up 7 strikeouts through the first 4. He entered leading the American League in strikeouts. Now has 209 on the year. Ground ball right side, and with that shift on, Forsythe positioned perfectly. Saunders is out number 1 in the 5th.
That's the thing about this shift that always gets me. Is, you know, you say that, but even if they didn't shift, that's where he would have played. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the funny thing about the shift is those ground balls right to the second baseman. Well, he would have been there anyway. Does that count for the shift?
Yes, it does.
I think it probably does.
There's no question it does.
You've got to be able to justify and validate.
There, the mark for the shift.
Yeah. Any play, I guess, would go for the shift, even though in a traditional setup, Logan would have been in the same exact spot.
So you're saying the shift is a stacked deck?
It can be. Now the thing I like about the shift is, you know, you can manipulate Logan. You can play him a little deeper against guys that don't have foot speed. You take away up the middle by moving your shortstop in a region up there, and you take away up the first base line, because you can take your first baseman and pinch him onto the line. So that's where you really cover yourself.
Yeah, it helps you play no doubles.
Yeah, up the line, up the middle, and it gives your second baseman more range if you can afford to play him a little deeper.
Pilar chases the pitch, and he is out on strikes. 2 up, 2 down. Well, he saw that slider up, kind of liked it, but it moved away from him.
Yes, it did. I don't know what to say about that.
Here's Devin Travis. Pitch is down. I did detect a little glimmer of excitement in your discussion about the virtues of the shift there. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, I think that's where, you know, that's where it really helps you. You know, because the ground ball to second base, right to that position, you know, typically where a guy's going to stand, that, you know, that shift's not taking that away, but it takes away a lot of other stuff.
And like, shot left center field, going to be in there, base hit, cut off by Dickerson. Aggressive turn at first, but Travis stops and heads back to first.
But I do like how, you know, guys who aren't speedsters giving your second baseman more range. How many times have we seen a ball where all of a sudden you get into the game and you're focusing on the hitter coming up to the plate, and you don't see the shift even happen? It's very subtle, and then there's a ball whistled right back up the middle, and you're like, okay, base hit.
Oh, there's a guy there.
Forsythe.
Yeah.
Or there is, you know, Matt Duffy right there to make the play. In fact, Logan Forsythe right now shading way up the middle.
Jose Bautista at the plate. And that's a strike.
But see, like even this setup right here, and it's not as extreme as others, but Matt Duffy is playing traditional shortstop. But, you know, you allow Longoria a little bit closer to the line, and Logan takes away anything up the middle. You give yourself a better chance of covering that side, even though Duffy's in where he would be normally. And
right back to the hill on the check swing. Archer A little flip over to first. Man left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 3-1 Rays. Half of the 5th inning, $2 kit ticket Tuesdays presented by Morgan Auto Group back Tuesday when the Rays take on the Orioles. All youngsters 14 and under get $2 tickets with a purchase of a full price paid adult ticket. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com/specials. A ball, no strikes the count to Evan Longoria. Pitch is popped to the right side. If that's fair, that could be trouble. Now foul, and Travis gets over there and makes the catch. He never gave up on that one, hustling all the way out from second. It's going to be tough for Encarnacion, and Bautista was not going to get there. And here comes Travis.
They had to reach at the very end. You got to move that far, run that hard. He did every bit of the reach in the glove. Haul that ball in. That was an impressive play for the ground that he did have to cover.
Here's Brad Miller. He's facing Danny Barnes in relief of Jay Happ. Miller's out in front. Strike one. The change up right there. A towering pop fly. Pilar coming in from center and makes the catch. That a major league pop fly. Well, the 2 2/3 for Happ. His second shortest outing of the year, behind only the 2-inning outing he had against the Rays back in May, on the 18th of May. When he eventually gave up 8 runs on 7 hits, left with runners on base, and was down 6-0 when he left, charged with 8 runs in that one. A strike to Matt Duffy, and 3 runs in 2 2/3 today before departing. But he made 85 pitches in the time he spent out there today. That was just fouled, and it's 0-2. 85 pitches in 2 2/3. You know, the 2 innings he pitched against the Rays when they scored 8 runs off him, he only made 51 pitches in that outing.
Well, that was wild within the zone. Too many hittable pitches. Today, there were a lot of misses, a lot of deep counts, a lot of 3-2 counts, inconsistency in the delivery. You know, at times we would see him drive and literally reach out and drive a pitch to its spot, and then other times cutting himself off a little bit, getting a little rotational, pulling off some pitches, carrying some other pitches with him, and it just led to inconsistency of, you know, repeatable delivery. The delivery today was not repeatable, and so he really could not command the ball where he wanted and missed a lot outside the zone.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, there have been games in which he's pitched into the 6th inning and made fewer pitches than he made today in 2 2/3. Little looper right side. Travis can't get there for this one, and a bobble as he tries to pick it up, but Duffy remains at first with his second hit. Duffy 2 for 2 with a sacrifice fly in this game.
Well placed.
What did you think when a hitter got a hit like that and you were on the mound?
Livid. You're livid. You know, you feel like you've made a pitch to miss the barrel. You get poor contact, and the thing is much like when you sit up where we are now and you watch pitches on the monitor, you know what's a strike, what's not a strike most of the time. You just have seen too many. And out there on the mound, you throw a pitch, you get poor contact, you may even break the bat, and you see the ball trajectory off the bat, and you immediately know that's trouble. That's too far for my second baseman, and my right fielder's not going to be able to get in there. And then you just helplessly turn and watch it fall in. A few choice words under your breath, and then you get back to work.
Put it out of your mind, and away you go to the next guy. And so Barnes, after giving up that bloop single to Duffy, is ahead of Souza Jr. 0-2. Foul ball. Rays and the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. Rays scored 2 runs in the first, added another run in the 3rd. Blue Jays got a run in their first. Ground ball, third base. Donaldson goes to second to Travis with the throw. We're headed into the 6th inning. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay. Toronto opened the scoring in the first inning. A base hit by Deanna Navarro scored EDWIN ENCARNACION. The Rays came right back. Evan Longoria's double tied it. Matt Duffy's fly ball into right field got Kevin Kiermaier home to make it 2-1. And they added another run in the 3rd with 2 outs Corey Dickerson singles home Matt Duffy.
That was a big one there, really. You know, you see the way this game is unfolding. That extra run seems very big right now, especially the way that Chris Archer has settled in and is throwing the baseball.
Josh Donaldson takes a pitch in the dirt. So Archer, third time through the order. That began with BAUTISTA, who went out pitcher first to end the top of the fifth. Now it's Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Navarro. One. Well, Archer 8-17 coming in, leading the American League in strikeouts and the Major League in losses. Strike on the outside part of the plate. 1-2. Two count. And the first half, second half, starkly different. These 4 and 5 with a 3.05 after the All-Star break, and had a 4.66 earned on average before the break. There goes the bat, a swing and a miss. So Donaldson is out on strikes, and Duffy at shortstop right there retrieving the bat.
Well, just an awkward swing by Josh Donaldson. It speaks to the quality of the pitch by Chris Archer. You don't see this very often. You see the twirly bird every now and then, but realizing, look at that, right out to shortstop as he's reaching for that pitch that's headed out of the zone. You reach, that one will stay in the field.
On that, his 90th pitch of the day, his 9th strikeout. First pitch to Edwin Encarnacion is fouled back out of play. Benoit up in the bullpen, the veteran right-hander. One. Balls and a strike. Lifted into center. Kiermaier with a lot of room. 2 outs. It's 9 of 10 retired by Archer. Gave up the 2-out single to Devin Travis in the 5th. Prior to that, the previous base runner had been a walk to Donaldson back in the 3rd. Deanna Navarro has collected 1 of 4 hits given up by Archer. Which is a strike at the knees. One and one. To the backstop. 2-1. We've seen him uncork a couple of those prior to that one.
Yeah, and then you come back and make that pitch. Okay. I guess you're changing eye levels at the end of the day.
You're just setting up that pitch.
Yeah. In style.
2-2. And a popper. Short center. Here comes Kiermaier. He'll make the catch, and that retires the side. Bottom of the sixth coming. 3-1 Rays. Of the sixth inning. That's what's coming up on Rays Live tomorrow. The pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Matt Andrees set to make the start with a 6-6 mark. We'll hear from him. And Orestes will break down Manny Machado. Waldo Jimenez, the scheduled pitcher for Baltimore tomorrow. We'll be with you at 12:30. Scott Feldman, the veteran right-hander, is pitcher number 3 for the Blue Jays. Corey Dickerson will lead it off here. Dickerson came up with the big base hit against the lefty starter Happ in the third. One and one. Ball 2 strikes. Well, the Blue Jays counting on their starters to give them innings. And Jay Happ, it's just 2 2/3 of this one. In fact, he had an 11-game winning streak and then has lost one of the last 2 starts and had a no decision in the other one, and now out of this one after 2 2/3. And with this final month of September looming, that's going to be something the Blue Jays are going to need, innings from their starting pitchers. To the count. We got 6 from Stroman here Friday, 5+ from Estrada in yesterday's game, and 2 2/3 from Happ. And Dickerson out on strikes. So that's the first out in the bottom of the 6th inning.
That little split, 85, took just enough off. Dickerson's not able to get out there and reach that. Foul tip into the glove for out number 1.
Blue Jays will be heading into a series against the Yankees. R.A. Dickey will open that series for him, and then Aaron Sanchez, who has been their absolute best at 13-2, will pitch the second game of that one, and they're trying to protect him from an innings build-up.
And that's the fine line that you walk. Are you going to go for it, or are you going to? You think about what the Nationals, Washington Nationals, did a few years ago with Steven Strasburg. Pulling him out, he doesn't pitch in the playoffs, and
yeah, there are no guarantees either way.
Well, no, because I mean, there's been no run since then. It's just different mindsets now. You know what I mean? Players looked at as assets, and you know, more than anything else, there's not the go for it type of mentality that used to permeate everybody in the game. Well, you put yourself in that position, like you said, no guarantees, we're going for it. Well, now you juggle going for it with protecting assets and this and that and the other, and some guys will go for it, some will not.
Yeah.
Some will try to go for it while walking the fine line. And that's not really going for it, actually.
No, and some of that changes day to day when they calculate what are the chances from this day after you win, and then if you lose the next day, well, chances aren't too good. Okay, then the next day you win, hey, chances are better.
And the other two teams lost.
Yeah.
You gained some ground.
Foul ball back. It's very confusing. Very confusing. Let's just get a team and go, we're trying to get as great a players as we can. Let's go for it. That's way too simple.
Yeah. No, that's why it makes our job easy. You show up, you get the lineup card, you jot it down, you're prepared with your notes, and you talk about what happens out here. And every once in a while you veer off course and end up where we are right now, but not very often.
3-2 chopped down to third. Donaldson has a lot of time. And so 2 up, 2 down against Feldman in the bottom of the 6th inning. CASALI will be coming up here. CASALI has walked and gone out pitcher first. Well, what the Blue Jays have done, and we talked about their bullpen and getting to the end of the game. I mean, they have Grilly here, and Feldman is one of them. Benoit trying to get some experience. Some guys who, under fire, might be able to get an important out and cover some innings. And then they've thrown in, some of the young guys. Biagini gave up that home run last night. First home run he's given up, and he's been a pleasant surprise as a Rule 5 guy. Two and one to count on CASALI. That's foul, out of play. 2-2. Ground ball to third. Donaldson whips it across the diamond. Casali's out. So are the Rays. We're headed into the 7th, 3-1 Tampa Bay. Archer putting the finishing touches on loosening before he works to the Blue Jays in the 7th inning. Starts this inning with 9 strikeouts on the day.
Well, and I'll tell you, he has been fantastic moving the ball around, taking that slider down and out of the zone, down and in to the left-handed hitters, and just racking up the strikeouts and pitching very well in a close game. And this is something that he's been doing a whole lot more of since the All-Star break. Talked about it early on. His last 8 starts, the ERA was .279 coming in. Doing a better job of commanding the fastball, not walking anybody.
And his first pitch here is a ball a little bit high. He hits the 100 mark in pitches. Rays have the bullpen busy as we begin the 7th inning. Brad Boxberger up and throwing. And ball 3. This to the slider. Behind Martin 3-0. Still just a 2-run ball game here, 3-1. Going into the late stages. And a leadoff walk. Or is it? Nope, that's a strike. Martin thought he had a walk, trying to coax the walk out of Hoberg. And Hoberg said, nope, that's a strike. Pitch lifted into left. Going back is Dickerson at the wall, and he leaps to make the catch. Boy, kept his eye on that one and cautiously approached that 370 marker, and he had just enough room to make the catch. Making sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Tulowitzki singles into right. On the first pitch to Tulowitzki, he has a base hit, and that's going to bring Kevin Cash right out of the dugout. Long fly ball by Martin on the 3-1 pitch, caught by Dickerson. Now a base hit. Pitching change coming up. Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. Third game of the series between the Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. Bruce Archer's day complete. 6 1/3, 5 hits and a run, plus a man left on, accountable to his line. Just a walk and 9 strikeouts. And he gives way to Brad Boxberger with Michael Saunders the hitter. 1 on, 1 out. First pitch is a strike. Numbers on Boxberger.
14 strikeouts, just over 13 innings of work, but 10 walks to go along with it. Yeah, he's still working himself back into mid-season form. Been an injury-filled, frustrating season for Brad Boxberger. Another one of these pitchers that you're looking, here in September to finish strong and head into the offseason, get ready for next year. Going to be a big part of the bullpen.
A 1-2 count. Well, the Rays potentially, we'll see how it all works, potentially could go into the offseason with enough pitching so they could utilize that to address other areas on this team. This ball inside, not a chance for Tulowitzki to move up as it popped away. The count is 2-2. And a lot of that will be determined by what happens in September with all this pitching, and certainly encouraged by Alex Cobb and his performance the other night. Ground ball, that's going to get through the right side. Tulowitzki will turn second, throw back in there, but he's back on the bag. So Saunders picks up his first hit. Suddenly a couple men on with 1 out.
Well, he's able to go out there and wrap around that baseball, pull it into the hole with enough on it to get it by Forsythe. Keep Tulowitzki at second. You keep some options open if a ball happens to be hit on the ground, but Toronto is starting to build an inning here with 1 out.
Yeah, first time they've had 2 men on base at the same time since the third, when Bautista singled and Donaldson walked with 2 outs. And Archer got Encarnacion on strikes that time. Now a ball to Kevin Pillar with 1 out and men at first and second in the 7th inning. Foul up the right side, out of play. 1-1. What's wrong with that pitch? Brad Boxberger wondering. 2 balls and a strike. Bloomberg hearing some chatter from the Rays dugout. Again, and that's ball 3. Cut at the fastball. With 3-1, you're forced to come up.
Yeah, and when you come up, you typically are going to have a hitter there waiting. 3-1 heater, that's what you want out over the plate where you get your arms extended. And
yeah, optimal situation for a hitter. 3-2 now.
Foul ball.
And now the bases are going to be loaded. A single and a walk. They're loaded, and Devin Travis will be the hitter. Here's a guy down at the end of their lineup that really worries you. This guy.
He leads the team in hits and batting average since the All-Star break.
Yep.
And he's hiding out.
And he's hitting .365 with men in scoring position. So a big spot here in the top of the 7th. Blocked by Wilson, 1-0. You know, if you're Boxberger, I mean, you make your living with that changeup and pitches down. If you don't get that call, yeah, you've got to think of something in a hurry. Ground ball and a base hit into left. Tulowitzki scores. Saunders heads to the plate. 2 runs home, and the game is tied 3-3. Devin Travis drives in 2 with his 2nd hit of the day.
Devin Travis does get a pitch, some elevation in the zone, right out over the heart of the plate. And boy, does he hammer that ball. Gets it by the diving Evan Longoria. Blue Jays have tied it up, searching for more here.
BAUTISTA, and he takes a big cut trying to get out in front of that one. Swing it early.
Yeah, I mean, and that's almost, you don't want to say predetermined, but he is so geared up, so ready to swing the bat. That ball was nowhere near the zone.
That ball down to first. Miller double pumps. They get the out at second. He had to wait for somebody to be at the bag. So they get an out on Devin Travis on the force play. BAUTISTA reaches on a fielder's choice.
Man, that's a byproduct. You know, you see where Logan is. He's got to be the guy to peel back. Duffy's on his way, but someone's got to get there and take that throw. That was going to be the only out they're going to get anyway. This is a big one here. Big one here. 1st and 3rd.
BAUTISTA at first. Pilar, great speed down at 3rd. Josh Donaldson, the hitter. Which is down 1-0. Popped up, foul ball coming straight back out of play. It's 1-1. Devin Travis with a base hit. Driving in 2. Well, there's that pitch again. And Pat Hoberg just not seeing that as a strike at all.
Now, this is a good changeup here. There's nothing wrong with that pitch, but I don't know how to explain it. Before it was a 50-50 proposition. Now they're all going against you, your pitcher, except that. I mean, make heads or tails of that from one to the other.
Yeah, it's impossible.
But that is, and that'll drive a pitcher, a hitter, and both dugouts insane.
Two. Foul back. He had a big cut. Just enough movement to tie him up in there. 3-2. And ball 4 inside. Bautista moves to second on the walk to Donaldson. Pilar already at third.
Number 10, ENCARNACION.
Well, it can be a frustrating at-bat here for Boxberger and for Donaldson for that matter. There's the foul ball, even up in the count. That should have been 1-2 instead 2-1. There's some more pitches in there. They did not be called strikes.
1-0 the count on Edwin Encarnacion. Fouled back. 1-1. But we talked it's been a series or two ago about eliminating that low strike next year and the discussion that was had about that. We've seen what happens. We saw it the other night.
But here's the thing, next year. Not now. Not now. Do it next year.
Well, we've seen how bad it will be next year if they do that.
Awful.
Now that's a strike.
Well, here's the thing, though. It does make the calls exciting because we're all waiting. Is it? Is it? You don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat.
You got your quarters out, flipping them.
I love quarters. All the different states on the back. Those are cool. We'll talk about that another time.
A ball, 2 strikes. And it's popped up. Will it stay playable? Miller after it, digging hard. He got it! Right in front of the dugout. He came a long way from first base. And that will retire the side. Blue Jays scored 2 on an excruciating inning. We're in the middle of the 7th, tied at 3. Sports Sun brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Kubota. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealer. Rays and the Blue Jays all knotted up. 3-3, our Toyota inside look. Top of the order for the Rays against the Blue Jays this year. Logan Forsythe at .449 with a .534 on base percentage. And then comes Kevin Kiermaier hitting .356 with a couple of home runs. 10 RBIs in the season series. And the on base percentage at .409. They will be up here to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Forsythe, Kiermaier, And then Longoria against Joaquin Benoit, formerly spending time in the Rays bullpen.
And Joaquin Benoit has been fantastic coming out of the bullpen for John Gibbons and the Toronto Blue Jays. See the season numbers overall there, but he has been very, very good. Much better than those numbers even with the Blue Jays.
How about this? This is what he has going for him right now. 15 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings.
Well, and there's the reason why.
Well, Logan Forsythe ready to hit against him. Logan with a base hit and a walk. Pitch is upstairs. Last time he popped out to third. Well, 2 runs charged to Chris Archer. 6 1/3. 1 run charged to Boxberger in the 7th. Two and 0. Kevin Jepson up in the Rays bullpen. Just like that, a 3-0 count. Kiermaier on deck. 3-1. Here's a base hit, drilled in the hole between short and third. Well, another multi-hit game for Logan Forsythe, on for the 3rd time today.
That's been the story of this series. Logan Forsythe, they cannot keep him off base. Period. End of discussion. That's 11 times he's reached base so far this series.
And here's Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier 1 for 3. Donaldson close at third. Kiermaier swings away, fouling it out of play.
That's what you don't know anymore. You know, we've seen enough. The Rays on the season with 8, bunt for hits. We've seen Kiermaier do that at least 2 times while sacrificing. A bunt situation, he lays the bunt down, and with his foot speed, is able to beat it out. So you're always wondering, and you see where Josh Donaldson's playing him well into the grass or the turf once again.
Now he puts down a bunt. It's a foul ball. Grabbed immediately by Martin with a throw down to second. But it's a foul ball.
Now with 2 strikes, you fully expect Kiermaier to be swinging away, and that's why Donaldson's going to walk right off the turf and head into the dirt. Feel more confident swinging the bat with 2 strikes.
Rays have the leadoff base hit. 2 strikes on Kiermaier. And that's a foul ball. Just a little piece of it that hit the ground, so he's still alive up there.
That split change starts to tumble out of the zone. That not sure he fouled that off after that shot. You'll take it.
That quarter out.
Oh, boy, oh boy. 2 out of 3.
The 0-2. Tapper foul. So this game in the hands of the bullpens now. 3-7-0 for Toronto. 3-8-0 for the Rays. In the bottom of the 7th. Kiermaier out on strikes this time. He missed that one to change.
Now he's going to see 3 in a row. This one he just keeps further away from him, and you reach, you go down to try to get it, and it's just not there.
Now Evan Longoria doubled it around in the first. Evan 1 for 3. 1 for 6 in his career against Benoit. First pitch strike. Blue Jays scoring 2 in the top of the 7th inning to tie the game. Benoit set. Now it's 0-2. Fastball. 93, 94 in that neighborhood.
He's another one of those guys that have that good combination of fastball and really the splitter down below the zone. Kind of quiet mechanically. Ball tends to jump on you a little bit.
Stays inside. 1-2.
And a lot of experience. You know, well prepared coming into games, knows the types of hitters that he's probably going to be in the ball game to face, and has a good idea of what he's doing out there, building up a lot of years in this game.
And a cut and a miss. He goes up and strikes out Longoria.
He did not go to one area. Every other pitch, you know, he's moving it to different spots, going down and away, then up and in, and then the changeup that missed further up and in, then up and away. I'll tell you, he just works the entire zone and then some and gets the strikeout.
Well, here's Brad Miller against Benoit. Miller's 0 for 3 today. Forsythe still at first after leading off the inning with a base hit. So down Benoit with the Rays in 2010. 134 earned run average for them out of the bullpen in 63 games. Pitched in 3 games in the division series against his former team, Texas. Originally got to the big leagues with Texas. Since his time with the Rays, Detroit, San Diego. The pitch is wide. It's 2-1. Stop in Seattle for him, and now Toronto. Foul out of play the other way and back. It's going to reach the upper deck. Two balls, two strikes. Matt Duffy on deck. He would be next if Miller can move this inning along. The top or the bottom of the seventh, top half of the inning. Toronto scored 2 to tie the game. Two. Fouled again. Another one into the upper deck.
Now he's staying away from Brad Miller. For good reason. He's got that good power. However, you know, those pitches off the plate, it's tough to drive those, but you start to go away and catch some of the plate, and Brad Miller has shown that ability to go the other way with authority. See if they stay out there and maybe try to go below the zone here once again.
Runner goes, a pitch swung on and missed. Martin with a toss down to Encarnacion, completing the strikeout. We go to the eighth, tied 3-3. Ball game. The Rays and the Toronto Blue Jays. Blue Jays with 2 in the 7th to tie it after the Rays had jumped to a 2-1, eventually a 3-1 lead behind Chris Archer. Struck out 9 in 6 1/3, 105 pitches for Archer today. Give away to Boxberger, and now Kevin Jepson. He faces Deoner Navarro. Navarro had a base hit to drive in a run in the first. Jepson makes his 54th appearance. Pitched an inning here in the first game of the series Friday night. Behind Navarro 2-0. Promptly behind 3-0. That's a strike. Navarro draws the walk. Jepson gives up a pass to Navarro to bring up Russell Martin.
Get a pinch runner too.
Navarro, the DH, and now Dalton Pompey will run for him. So they have some speed at first on the leadoff walk in the 8th inning. Runner goes on the first pitch. Thrown down. It's going to be close. He is in there. Stolen base for Pompey, wasting no time at all. Pinch running, and he picks up a steal.
Boy, he comes into the game loose and ready to go here, and you're right. There's the jump. Catch and throw. And it did look like he got that left hand in there ahead of the tag.
Ray's taking a look.
Yeah, that hand
on
is
their video side.
Yeah, it's just a matter of did he come free of the bag, and he did not. That's a stolen base.
A good throw from Wilson. But it's a steal. And with a 1-0 count on Martin, Pompey is in scoring position. Danny Farquhar up in the bullpen. Two and 0. Jepson missing again. Behind 3-0. Swinging 3-0. Martin has hit it out. 5-3 Toronto. Green light for Martin, and he hits his 17th home run of the year.
Well, the leadoff walk, pinch runner, stolen base, fall behind once again, and this 3-0 fastball center cut. That Toronto dugout reacting, they knew it.
The pitch to Tulowitzki is high. A blast by Russell Martin. It's his 8th home run in the last 18 games. His 17th of the year. Two in the 7th to tie, and 2 here in the 8th to take the lead for Toronto. And now a strike. Two. There's the count of 2-2, fouling it out of play. Well, 2 runs given up by Archer as it turned out in 6 1/3, and now 3 runs off the bullpen. 1 charge to Boxberger. 2 runs here in this inning surrendered by Jepson. Headed toward the middle and through into center. Tulowitzki with a single up the middle. Follow Rays baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment. Game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. So Kevin Cash comes out to make a pitching change. 3 hitters here for Jepson. Back in a moment. The Rays double play season ticket plan. Fans receive the lowest price and can choose from one of several can't buy big league experiences, including a chartered flight to Miami to see the Rays play, or perhaps a dinner cruise with Kevin Kiermaier. Turn a double play by calling 888-FAN-RAYS to talk with a Rays specialist. Andy Farquhar, the new pitcher for the Rays. Michael Saunders takes a big cut and misses. Strike 1. Oh, 2. Ball, 2 strikes. Farquhar pitched an inning in relief of Alex Cobb here Friday night. He got ahead of Saunders in that one and struck him out. Now it's 2-2. A swing and a miss. Gets him on the change.
Now that's something that Danny Farquhar has been doing an awful lot of here recently. Getting ahead of guys, being able to put them away. A good change up there down below the zone, keeps it away from them.
10th strikeout for Rays pitching. Visit CanesStrikeout.com for a printed home voucher. Go to Canes Furniture within 7 days and receive a coupon for a free Shorty Hoagie of your choice from Wawa. Kevin Pillar looks at a strike. Tulowitzki's at first, 1 out now with 2 runs in. And a strike on Pillar. way. 0-2. Base hit. Reaches out, goes the other way. Tulowitzki advances to second. Pilar on for the second time after a 7th inning walk. Now an 8th inning single.
A little poke job out into right field. Not even really a full swing, a ball that's away from him. Take advantage of those openings on that right side.
He is the 4th base runner of the inning of the 5 hitters to come to the plate. 2 runs have scored, 2 on right now. And 1-0 the count to Devin Travis, who drove in 2 runs with a base hit in the 7th inning. 1-1. Also had a single in the 5th. Travis getting time. And this one skips to the backstop. Tulowitzki to third and Pilar up to second on the wild pitch. Now 2-1. Infield up close. 2-2. $5-10-0 for Toronto, 3-8-0 for the Rays. Marquardt trying to keep this game within reach. And he strikes out Travis. Big strikeout there for the second out, especially following the wild pitch.
Yeah, here it is. Starts low, stays low, and Travis goes right after it.
Now the top of the order, Jose Bautista. Pitch is a strike. Tulowitzki at third, Pilar at second, 2 outs. Bautista misses the fastball. 0-2. And the fastball popped up short right center. Souza Jr. makes the catch. Well, 2-run score on the home run by Martin. 5-3 Toronto. And coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. Rich and Arrestas anchor the coverage from the set in left field. Kevin Cash will again be a part of all of that with his postgame press conference. Players' reaction from the clubhouse. Melvin Upton Jr. in the game defensively, taking over in left. And Ezekiel Carrera is the right fielder. And the new pitcher is Jason Grilli. Pitcher number 5 for the Blue Jays. 56th appearance for Grilli with a 3.08 earned run average. Matt Duffy leads off. The first pitch is a strike. So the pitchers of record become Kevin Jepson and Joaquin Benoit. Play 0-2. Duffy will be followed by Souza Jr. and then Dickerson.
Well, now you're thinking, you know, you're going to scratch out at bats. Base runners needed, at least one. Try to answer what the Blue Jays have done. Rays have done a nice job of that here recently.
1-2. Duffy battled and lifted a sacrifice fly back in the first, scoring a run. He has singled twice since then and scored a run in the third. Ground ball off the glove of Grilli, deflecting. Donaldson with the pickup and the throw. And Duffy is out 1-5-3. Well, that was a fortunate deflection for Grilli and the Blue Jays.
Certainly was. You're thinking right here with that ball not being fielded cleanly. Okay, here's your base runner. And really, one hop to Donaldson like it was chopped to him.
Steven Souza Jr. He had a base hit in the third, 1 for 3. Fouls the first one back for a strike. Happ 2 2/3, Barnes 2 1/3, Feldman an inning, Benoit an inning. And now Grilli. Opposition hitting in the low 180s against Grilli. And it really doesn't make a lot of difference, lefties or righties against him. 0-2. Ryan Garton up in the bullpen for the Rays. The Rays down by 2 in the bottom of the 8th. Right-handed hitters batting 184 off Grilli and lefties 183. And that's strike 3. That fastball got there quickly and clocked at 93.
Well, Jason Grilli, he's got that short, quick arm action. Look how he stays behind it and drives it there. And you can see the swing by Souza Jr. Is he looking for something else? Because he's definitely tardy on that pitch at 93. A little late start. Never gets there.
So here's Corey Dickerson. Back into the screen. So Duffy retired. Souza Jr. out on strikes, and it's a strike on Dickerson. Swing and 2. Trying to wait, and you can't.
Got about a 10-mile-an-hour difference between the changeup and the fastball. That's what the tendency of that pitch is. You try to wait on the changeup, you're a little out in front, then all of a sudden you're a little bit late on the fastball. It kind of gets you in between.
And a cut and a miss. Fastball strikes out Dickerson. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays. We go to the 9th. 5-3 Toronto. It's 5-3 Toronto. Let's take a look at our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. Peruse the American League MVP candidates. And boy, there are some good ones right there. Altuve just having a sensational year in Houston. Mookie Betts, here's a young guy leading the Red Sox. David Ortiz saying see you later with a great walk-off year. Manny Machado to the Orioles push their way into this thing, and Edwin Encarnacion leading the American League in runs batted in.
I think you're going to have to go a lot deeper than these numbers. If you just look at those numbers, it's going to be hard to pick one. You've got to really delve into their year before you're going to be able to come up with a well-informed vote, because they've all put up big numbers.
Yeah, and it's going to depend also on where your team finishes. That will impact it. Josh Donaldson takes a big cut and misses the first pitch, cutting away from him. Strike one. Well, Garton makes his 26th appearance. Ryan Garton in there, 1-0 with a 440. 2. Garton worked the 8th inning in the game yesterday. We got Bautista, Donaldson, and Encarnacion on a pop-up and 2 fly balls. It's way up. 1-2. Osuna, the closer, loosening in the bullpen. Play on the right field side. Chopped to third, fair, and a nice play, good throw from Longoria.
You know, he does such a nice job when he's afforded the time to circle the baseball, so that as he's going to throw on the run, he's throwing on the run, moving towards first base. And that's what he was able to do there. Get out and around that chopper, be moving and flowing towards first base. See how he gets around it? Now, as you throw on the run, you're moving at your target, creates more momentum. That's that feel for the position, knowing that you have the time to get around that ball as opposed to fielding it straight in.
It's a strike to Encarnacion. Big cut, a foul back, 0-2. Strike call. Encarnacion caught looking. Take a look at that pitch from Ryan Garten.
Look at that little knuckle curve. Pops up, starts to spin down. Right at the top of the zone, outside corner.
And there's Dalton Pompey. Ground ball chopped to third. And Longoria throws him out. Another perfect inning for Garten. That's 3 perfect innings from him in this series. Down by a couple. Need 2 to keep it going. We'll be with you tomorrow, 12:30, with Matt Andrees on the hill, looking for his 7th win of the year. Baltimore Orioles come calling with Ubaldo Jimenez on the mound. All of that on Fox Sports Sun tomorrow.
It's not often that we get back-to-back day games.
That's
here
exactly
in
right.
Tropicana Field.
Yep.
So this guy was excited when he saw this week's schedule.
Well, Justin Smoke's in the game at first. The new pitcher, Roberto Osuna, 29 of 32 in the save department. And Logan Morrison pinch hitting for Wilson, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. Bobby Wilson 0 for 3, and now Morrison hits against Osuna. Nick Franklin is on deck. Ball 1 strike. 2. There's Franklin on deck. Foul into the seats.
I don't know if we've seen that before from Osuna. The hesitation in the leg kick. You know, he's always pretty smooth as he heads to the plate. Watch this right here. Up. Oh, you got to hold on to it for a second, then come at you with the hard stuff. Anything to try to throw that hitter's timing off. Anything at all. If you start to load on his leg kick and you load and he pauses, now you're kind of frozen there.
And a swing and a miss, and the big kick that time, and then here it comes. And a strikeout on the fastball at 97.
Yeah, like he needed something else to mess with the hitter's timing. The stuff is enough. This is your traditional kick. That's what you're used to seeing. And he's just able to overpower Morrison right there with the fastball upper 90s.
Nick Franklin. Franklin pinch hitting, takes the ball. CASALI had occupied this spot and had drawn a walk. Franklin trying to catch up to that fastball, and it's 1-1. Foul ball there, 1-2. Soon to pitcher number 6. Toronto, the Rays have used 5 pitchers today.
Catch your attention. That ball with that velocity, foul tipped off your mask.
Into the dirt. 2-2. Toronto broke a 3-3 tie with a 2-run home run from Russell Martin at the top of the 8th. It's 5-3, bottom of the 9th. Foul out of play by Franklin.
Need a base runner. Give yourself a puncher's chance, especially with the top of the order as hot as Logan Forsythe has been in this series. He's locked in right now. You've got some danger lurking behind him.
With the Rays down to their final 2 outs here against Toronto. Yankees have a 4-2 lead in Baltimore in the bottom of the 8th. Boston and Oakland no score there on the top of the 2nd in Oakland. And a foul ball, just a little bit of that one. In and out of the mid of Russell Martin, which means Franklin will get another shot. Boston and Toronto started the day with identical records in the East, and Baltimore 2 back. And a shot into deep right center. On the run. Oh, they collide. That's Pilar and Carrera. And Pilar straight on his back, but getting up out there. Carrera appears to have made the catch and held on. And Pilar now slowly getting up. Well, that could have been dangerous for both those Blue Jay outfielders.
Yeah, you're going to see the communication. There really was none. You didn't see Carrera calling anything. Pilar at the last minute trying to pull out of there, loses his glove. See if he's actually going to make the play too. My goodness, neither one of them saying a word.
And I'll tell you, that could have been big trouble when you look at Pilar going in. If he makes contact with his head and neck with the hip of Carrera, both of them could have been seriously injured on that one.
Even the glove arm could have snapped that. I mean, that right there, that's as close as you get, because those, I don't think either one of them thought the other one was going to get there.
Well, here's Forsythe taking a strike. Yeah, they just averted disaster out there and managed to make the catch and hold on. To the count. That is strike 3 called, and this one is over. Rays up and down in order in the 9th inning. 2 strikeouts for Osuna. And the Blue Jays avert being swept by the Rays. It's a 5-3 final for Toronto. 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors with 8 left. For the Rays, 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors with 7 men left on base. Benoit will get the win. The loss goes to Jepson. And Osuna picks up a save. For Osuna, his 30th save of the year. Took 3 hours and 18 minutes to play it before 13,884. So the Rays take 2 out of 3 tomorrow. We'll be with you at 12:30 for the opening game of the series with Baltimore. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not the outcome, Rays Live, the post game presented by Checkers, is next.